Spring is coming, and that means the backpacking season is about to start. For me, backpacking has a lot to do with improving and getting better and just making small steps and small changes in my gear selection and in my trip planning and in my execution of how to make things better and how to make things more enjoyable and how to make sure I'm more prepared out in the backcountry. So today, let's talk about decisions I made that changed in what gear I'm using coming into this year compared to last year and why I made those changes. Like a lot of you, I have been using the Katadyn BeFree as my primary source of water filtering. It's quick, it's easy, it's convenient, and it makes a lot of sense. It compacts well. It's great for all those reasons. But what I found was that I developed several pinholes in the water bladder, and I felt like it was a little flimsy, a little thin to invest in repairing, and I thought replacing it would run me into the same situation. So what I did was I took that and I threw it away, and I replaced it with the 2-liter version made by the same company that makes the bottle for the BeFree, actually, HydroPack. It's a little thicker, it's got a handle on it, it's a little meatier, and this has now got a permanent place in my pack for several reasons. The first of which is that it allows me to filter 2 1-liter bottles with only 1 scoop into the water. So if I stick this in the river, it fills it up, and it allows me to fill both my 1-liter bottles with this at the same time. It then allows me to fill this up again and bring this to camp with me so that when I'm at camp, I actually don't need to be by a water source. It opens up new locations to me. The other thing that storage allows me to do is to make longer treks between water sources without having that in the back of my mind. That extra liter just gives me some extra peace of mind if I'm not sure where that next water source is. I did more trips last year in a tent than I did in a hammock, and that's new for me. In a hammock, you string it between trees. Between trees, you normally have ground that's really good for putting a stake in and getting a good pitch with your tarp. In a tent, you actually end up in places that you may not have the best ground for. And what I found was that I was in places more often that required more purchase for my stakes in my tent. And I had been using the MSR mini groundhogs with my hammock, and that's perfect for that application. But when I moved into a tent and found more and more ground that was harder to get into, especially kind of loose, dry ground that's full of rocks, when the stake would go in, it would pull through that ground way more easily. So the next change that I made over last year was I went to the bigger MSR groundhogs. With that increased number of tent trips last year compared to hammock trips, there was one more issue that I needed to solve, that needed to be solved through gear, because the problem was that I never really felt like I had a restful sleep when I was tent camping. I never felt rested, I never felt comfortable, I never felt warm all night long, I never felt refreshed in the morning. And I attributed that mostly to my sleeping pad. See, when I started, I bought the Climate Static V, the insulated version, and I thought, oh, that'll be good. For the few trips that I do, it'll be fine, I'll suck it up. And with longer trips and more trips in the tent, I couldn't handle this piece anymore. It's not warm enough, it's not thick enough, it's not comfortable enough. It just didn't meet the needs that I had for last year in my backpacking trips. So I replaced it in my kit with the Big Agnes Rapide SL. Now this one is much thicker, it's wider, it's warmer, and it is way more comfortable. I will never again sacrifice a good night's sleep in the backcountry for just buying the cheapest version of something. I've learned that lesson through more gear choices than I care to admit by, oh, this will do, and I'll just pick it up without having done the research or planning ahead and thinking, well, what I could use this for in the future. I want to make sure it's something that's functional. So, yeah, get a good sleeping pad. Please do not think that I'm trying to say any of this is the gear that you should get or any of it's the best gear. It's probably not. What I do want you to know from this whole video is that you will change your gear for what works for you. Find what works for you the best and invest time and energy in getting that, because it will make your trips better. The last thing that I changed throughout the year last year as it went along was actually how I stored my food. Ever since I started backpacking, I started using just a bear hang kit. It's just some cord and you attach it to your waterproof bag or whatever you're storing your food in, you hang it. I usually use the 2-tree method if it matters. There's lots of different ways to do it. But essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your food up away from bears and other animals that could get in there and take your food. For a few reasons. You want to not get them habituated to people food, and you also don't want to be starving the next day when you wake up. You won't have any food left. If I'm being completely honest, I suck at hanging a bear bag and I don't like doing it. It's just energy and time that I don't want to do. I've tried to do it in the dark because you forget to do it when you get to camp, or you do something stupid and your line gets caught and tangled in a tree, and it's a frustrating, painful thing to do. Because I'm lazy, because I'm efficient, I'd much rather find something that allows me to get to camp, set up, relax, put my food away, and walk away. And that's why I changed to the Ursack. This is, I don't remember which one, it's supposed to handle 5 to 7 days worth of food. But this is much easier to use. You simply cross these over, cinch it up tight, get it all snug, get all your food in it, and you hang it off a tree. But you don't have to hang it high up away from anything because bears can't get into it. Now, if a bear gets to it, he's gonna crush the crap out of it. He's gonna beat it up trying to get into your food. But it's not gonna put him in danger because he won't get into the food and have access to it, and you're not gonna lose your food. Now, you'll probably have to like scoop it up as crumbs after, but you'll at least have it. So that was the other change that I made, is I went from the bear hang kit to the Ursack because I'm efficient. That's not even close to all of the gear changes I made last year. I made a bunch more, but it is the gear changes I made that I didn't plan on making the year before, or that came up throughout the year that I didn't anticipate. If you're curious about the ones that I changed throughout the year, take a look at this video. It'll outline the ones that I had plans to change. And this video here will outline one of the changes I pulled the trigger on real early last year that was a little more of an investment. If you're still watching this, my name's Nathan. This is Backpacker Ish. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, or don't, whatever.